What's going on too? How's everybody been doing? How's everybody been doing? So it is that time of year, and all I want to know, guys, is, and my ladies out there, all I want to know is, at what point are y'all gonna learn? When are y'all gonna learn? I promise I'm not trying to be, I'm not, but I'm curious though. I want to know, at what point are y'all gonna learn to stop letting these carriers that don't care about you get over on you? Why is it so hard for y'all to just say no? Why is it so hard for some of y'all to just grow a pair and say, listen, I'm not running? Now, I'm sure a lot of y'all have seen the pileups. Y'all have seen what's going on in some parts of this country with the snow, the ice, and it seems like year after year, it's happening. Now, before somebody says, oh, you don't drive over the road, well, I drove OTR at one point before I started doing local, and then before I started doing LTL. So I know all about what some of y'all are seeing out there. And believe it or not, I did it. You know, I went up there, I went on the notorious Interstate 80. I did it. And guess what? I had to learn, I effed around and I found out. Now, fortunately for me, when I went up there, I wasn't in those pilots, but I did see that stuff firsthand, the opposite direction. I've seen it. I've witnessed it. I've seen it on I-80. I've seen it on I-40. And, fortunately for me, I wasn't in it. But what happened to me is, and this was maybe 4 years ago or so, I was up in Wyoming, green, didn't know nothing really about nothing. I went up there and ended up getting stuck up there for 3 days at the TA. And ever since then, I never did another winter going through there. Now, I'm sure you wonder what this video is about. This is mainly going to be for my newer drivers out there. I want y'all to know that it's okay to say no. It's okay to say, I don't feel safe. It's okay. Do not let these carriers force you to run. Do not let them, because at the end of the day, the person that's assigning you those loads, they're not the ones driving in that. Now for those of y'all that have never been on Interstate 80 in the wintertime, Interstate 80 going through Wyoming, Nebraska, that area, it's rough. Those winds up there, it's rough. Now, there is an alternative for those of y'all that are going maybe from the East Coast to the West Coast, or West Coast to the East Coast. Most of y'all know I-80 goes from California all the way to, I believe, Jersey. So it goes across the whole country. Now you have another interstate. You have 70, you have 40, and then you have 10. Now, one thing you can do to avoid the infamous Interstate 80 is, and this might, it's going to take you longer. I've had to do it in the past. It does take longer, but you might be better off. So what you could do is, let's just say you're doing a cross-country run. Instead of dealing with I-80, you can drop down to Interstate 40. Now, of course, it's going to be some extra miles. It's going to take you a little longer, but in my personal opinion, and from my personal experience, you're better off taking Interstate 40, run that across, and then work your way back up. And then you can get back on 80. But I personally don't recommend Wyoming in the wintertime. Certain parts of Nebraska, I don't recommend it. Colorado, I-70, through Denver, y'all know that mountain where that driver almost got 110 years. I recommend, again, take Interstate 40. If it's icy, I don't recommend you drive. Now, guys, ladies, telling your dispatcher that you don't feel safe, being afraid to run in the wintertime, that doesn't make you any less of a truck driver. That doesn't make you a wimp. It doesn't make you, a scaredy cat. It doesn't make you none of those things. What it does is it makes you safe. At least you have common sense to say, hey, I don't feel safe. I'm going to wait it out. It's better that you wait it out than run it and you be one of the people I see on Facebook or YouTube that's in one of those pileups. Because once you end up in one of those accidents, you're going to be stuck regardless, And to be fair, there's no load out there that's worth running in inclement weather like that. It's not worth it, you know. And to be fair, my owner operators out there, y'all really not making that much money anyway. Them rates are trash, so it's pointless, you know. And I don't even know why owner operators, y'all are even dealing with that interstate aid. Save that for the company drivers. But my company drivers, you know, don't be afraid to say no. And another thing I just don't understand is y'all be knowing that the weather is bad, the visibility is 0 to none. And for those of y'all that have never been up there, you know, you might get the chance to experience it. You're gonna be able to validate everything I'm saying. The visibility up there, terrible. The wind speed, you know, it's strong enough. It could push you off the road. You know, it don't matter how much weight you have. It can blow you off the road. I've seen it happen with my own eyes. It happens. But what I just don't understand is why, knowing all these things, y'all still continue to drive fast. For what? And for those of y'all that are creeping, doing 10 miles an hour, 15 miles an hour, at that rate, you might as well shut down. You know, so what I want to know is, maybe y'all can answer, at what point are y'all going to learn to say no? At what point are y'all going to learn to slow down? At what point are y'all going to learn to just avoid these areas? At what point are y'all going to learn to check the weather before you start driving? You know, and if your dispatcher tries to force you to run, put safety on the phone. You know, assuming the company has a safety department, which they all should, put your safety on the phone. And if your safety department still forces you to run, then maybe you just need to reevaluate the carrier that you're at, because it's obvious they don't care about your safety. Now, your dispatchers, you know, a lot of times they're not going to give a damn. They're going to tell you, oh, just run. Oh, it's not that bad. But again, they're not the one in the seat doing it. Now, fortunately, you know, since I do LTL, these carriers, you know, they have enough sense to tell us, like, listen, the weather's too bad, we're not running, you know, or hey, the weather's bad, nothing is coming in or out of this area, you know. Point is, guys, learn to say no. Put yourself first before any load. Like, I wish I would. I wish I would be at a carrier and my dispatcher tells me, oh, you need to keep running. What? Again, learn to say no, y'all.